The Washington Capitals, they stumbled a bit last year, but still had 100 points. It's so weird. The Caps are, if you ask their fans, they're really down on them. If you ask people who project the Capitals, who are like, I've got this model or that model, and you doing a season preview, they're a little bit like, I don't know. I think they'll see a little bit of regression. But it's hard for me to believe that the Washington Capitals aren't still the Washington Capitals that we've seen for the better part of 10, 12 years now?
I base nothing on Capitals fans being down on them because they are.
They're down.
You're very defeatist.
They are.
You're very defeatist, Caps fans.
They are. Now, Jesse is pointing.
Who else is down on them?
Who?
The betting market.
Oh, what do they got? What do they got?
94.5 is their over-under.
Over all day. Over.
Maybe you guys should listen to what people are saying.
Listen, I get
the Metro is not going to have 4 100-plus point teams again.
Mm-hmm.
But you could. But you're shaving 6 points off them?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I can see.
that's not a lot.
They also have to play the bottom of the Atlantic, who's better now. Like you're not taking those points either from terrible East teams.
Oh,
the East is so
brutal.
deep.
So here's the Washington conundrum, okay? You've got really good players who are getting older. Mm-hmm. And we've, again, we ran into this problem with Pittsburgh. People keep going, well, if they get injured. But the Washington Capitals still find ways to win. And it starts with Ovechkin and Kuznetsov and Wilson, right?
And starting the season without Wilson and without Backstrom as well.
Yeah.
So the injury bug biting them a little bit.
Ovechkin, though, is going to keep playing and keep scoring, and he's going to keep chasing Wayne Gretzky.
I think he's going to slump to 45.
The one thing I am a little concerned about their defense here.
Yeah.
Obviously, John Carlson's John Carlson. We know what he is. He's a great player. You've got Orlov, you've got Jensen, but Eric Gustafson, who was bad in Chicago. He had that one good year in Chicago and then didn't.
He'll be a lot of fun.
Trevor Van Riemsdyk
feeding the puck up the ice and watching players blow by him on the other end.
That's what he is, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically what he is.
Trevor Van Riemsdyk paired up with him, and Martin Feravari. What do we know about him?
He's a good player.
He's a first pairing defenseman.
Yeah, I keep getting him confused with Joel Farabee, and that's just because of their names. Farabee, who we probably should have brought up more in the Flyers conversation, he's pretty good. Feravari is good. What the Capitals are actually doing an okay job of doing, and I dare say they're doing a better job than the Penguins of doing this, is they're introducing the next wave.
Interesting.
Hendricks, Feravari in there. I know I'm forgetting a few names, but they're doing a decent job of introducing the next wave. But holy shit, Jesse has their cap-friendly page up, and that is a lot of red.
Yeah, they're primed to get rid of everybody at the end of this year. Like they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 10 UFAs.
Name names.
They have.
You want me to name them all?
Yeah,
name them all.
Orlov, Jensen, TVR, Gustafson, Matt Irwin, Connor Brown, Lars Eller, Garnet Hathaway, Connor Sheary, and Marcus Johansson.
8 of 10 of those will be gone.
That's only defenseman signed past this season is John Carlson.
And that's the one that you should have.
So
Feravari is an RFA.
You're looking at this year, if it's truly a last dance because the whole group won't be back. And then next year, you get to rebuild a whole new team around Kuzi, Backstrom, and Ovechkin.
Well, and are we just going to forget that they were actually trying to move Kuzi for a time?
Yep.
As well? Yeah. So this is a team, they're good. I mean, they have Alexander Ovechkin. They have some depth. We're burying the lead with, they got Darcy Kemper.
Well, I was going to get to that next.
Also, I should mention Tom Wilson's also signed through next year, so he'll be a part of that.
Well, that deal's almost up. How about that?
Tom Wilson one? Yeah.
Wow,
that's how long we've been doing this show. I remember when that deal was a youngin'.
They were able to score their way out of bad goaltending last year, and now fortunes may be flipped.
Darcy Kemper, Stanley Cup winning goaltender, good goaltender.
He's a good goaltender. I don't know about elite, but good.
But they didn't win the cup with elite goaltending.
He was.
Brayden Holtby was very good. But that was
you mean the Capitals?
Yeah, the Capitals. They didn't win the cup.
They won with elite goaltending.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I feel like the team. There was some team propping up there. It felt like that, especially history since Holtby since has just never been the same.
He was a very game by game goalie. Remember when they won the cup, he wasn't even the starting goalie. It was Philip Grubauer who
Right.
started that playoff run. And Philip Grubauer, you know? And but when Braden Holtby decided he was done with this whole allowing goals thing, he was. Like, people forget Tampa, the season before winning the President's Trophy, which was the season before winning back-to-back cups and going to 3 state Stanley Cup finals, they had the Capitals dead to rights. And they were up 3-2, and Braden Holtby, the last goal he allowed was in Game 5. And they won in Game 7. He had back-to-back shutouts. Decided he was done with this whole allowing goals thing.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I have forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you know.
Kemper, though, has... I think he's a clear upgrade in that. Here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, they should have. Okay. I'm being facetious about being a Leaf fan here. I understand. I understand them wanting a change in net. I don't understand pitching Samsonov out the door that young.
That's fair. Maybe
You know
he
what I
just
mean?
maybe it's a mix of personalities that aren't there. Or
I think he had a high qualifying offer. I don't know what it was.
okay.
I mean, he ended up signing for 1.8. That is a very strange one to me, though.
The strange thing to me is, can you name, and don't cheat here.
Well, I can't friggin' see. All I see is lines.
Backup. Who is the backup goaltender for the Caps?
Darcy Kemper, is it? I think their third stringer's Phoenix Copley. I don't know.
Charlie Lindgren.
Oh,
So this is where I deduct marks from the Caps, because I feel like they can compete points wise. Maybe if they were playing the Pens face to face, the Pens would go. But if you're expecting Charlie Lindgren, who has played 29 career games, to play 29 games this season, I'm concerned. I'm calling the San Jose Sharks about James Reimer.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I would get his Capitals jersey. Love him. If I remember correct, he was borderline unusable in Montreal, and then he went to St. Louis, and he was actually quite good.
Yep.
But you're right. Like, it's aggressive to go from third stringer to, okay, you're full-time backup now, to Darcy Kemper, who was injured in last year's playoffs. And it was his eye. Goalies need those.
Yeah.
But like, he's jacked. I will say this, Washington Capitals fans, he's jacked to be a Washington Capital, and he's jacked to be alive. Like, he was one of the most excited people I met at the NHL Player Media Tour. He was so friendly that it alarmed me. I was like, do I know him? Do we know each
He
other?
was just
And I'm
very personable.
extremely personable, and he's the golden retriever that fan base deserves.
Well, that's cool. So they'll fall in love with him.
Yes.
So for the Washington Capitals this year, what's a real win?
The cup.
Yeah?
That
Are they
has to be the
striking
goal.
for the cup?
I mean, Alex, the top of Alex Ovechkin's head is the same color as the cup. That's how much time they have left. If it looks like it's realistic, he can catch Gretzky. That's their window. The second that record gets thrown out the window, either he breaks it or he falls off. And the clock's ticking. He's going to retire.
Jesse, what do you think?
No one's run lasts forever, and one of the hardest things to do in sports is predict when that team that's really good and all those players who are superstars go to that over the hill. It's so hard to determine when that superstar is going to fall off, but they all do, whether it be injuries or just Father Time, who's undefeated. And the Washington Capitals, I'm not going to bank on this being the season that they take a step back, but I could see a middling year where they re-up for next year with all of that cap space, and they truly go after it another year for Ovechkin next year when they get all the players in there that they want. So I think for them, it's definitely competing for the Stanley Cup, because that's what they have to do every year. They have,
But you think that they
the
might
core
actually
four.
be better next
But
year?
I think next year is the year where the Capitals are really going to go for it, when they're completely healthy again, because they're not healthy this year, and they have all that extra cap space. That's when I see the Caps really going for it. And this year, step back. I have them fourth in the division. It's a light fourth. I'm really not sure, but that's where I have them.
Steve.
I like the term light fourth, so I'm going to use it as well. That's where I have them. The gap between the haves and the have-nots in the Metro is going to shrink. You got to take points from the Hurricanes, the Rangers, the Penguins, or the Caps, and I think the Caps are maybe going to lose the most points out of the 4.
I'm going to take it too. Washington at 4. I think Jersey's going to be closing. I think they'll follow them this year. I just don't think Jersey's good enough to surpass them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I have the Islanders in that conversation as well.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with that goaltending tandem, which is better than the other 2 teams that we just mentioned, Washington and New Jersey.
Might be the best in the league.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we'll see. But yeah, Washington 4th place. That concludes our Metro Division.
Did you like it?